Nancy Pelosi says, if it rocks your boat, I'll do a skinnier bill. Honey, it's the motion of the ocean, and the movement of the ocean is in favor of a new Democratic skinnier bill. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mornings LALATE with really incredibly great news it's not Monday, but it feels like Monday. This midweek morning, and it's 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Hope you're good and safe. Hope you're good. The toast is buttering. The coffee's percolating. I'm here. You're here. And we're trying to figure out where everyone else in Congress is. But we have incredibly great news from Nancy Pelosi as Mitch McConnell did his going to game overnight. If you don't know what happened, he didn't debut a bill once again, as he seems to promise a lot but not do much of anything. But what came from Nancy Pelosi minutes ago and overnight is really incredibly great news in a week in which a lot of viewers need great news about your second stimulus check. Let me get right to the details. I have a lot of stuff this morning, including Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic skinny bill, the Republican skinny bill, new data from Lowe's, and hazard pay, new indication about Target, where they stand on a second stimulus check. Yes, Target, the retailer, and shocking details I reported to you over a week ago about Uber and Lyft in California and how it can impact Uber and Lyft drivers across the country. All right, let me get right to the details. Nancy Pelosi says that she will do a skinnier bill. Oh my goodness. I guess she's a fan of this channel. After this channel for 4 days non-stop slammed Nancy Pelosi and Caroline, sweet Caroline, not the Neil Diamond Caroline, but the Democratic Caroline Maloney from New York, a Democrat, who wrote a skinny bill. It's so skinny, if you blink, you might miss it, to get things done. Americans asked, after I asked, Nancy, why not do a skinny bill for the second stimulus check? If you don't know what's going on, or you're new to this channel, or you're just waking up and you're sort of one eye open, the Democrats and the Republicans agreed upon a second stimulus check. Okay, so why haven't we gotten it? You haven't gotten it because the stimulus check in the Democrat and Republican proposals was in a big bloated bill called a stimulus package, and no one wanted a package, but we got a package, and that package is not being delivered. And it's not being delivered in a week in which we're talking about a mailman a lot. More about him in a second, Louis DeJoy. But the package that has the check in it can't get agreement. So the reason why I can't get agreement is there's all this bloat, this pork, all this excess stuff that doesn't need to be in the pill, which I don't think, did they think that no one was going to catch that? Whether it's a Republican or Democrat, no one was going to catch that. This big package has a lot of stuff in there that one has nothing to do with coronavirus relief, like a federal building. That is put in the Republican plan, like a Democratic proposal that includes bailouts of states. It doesn't have to be done right now. That has a lot of stuff that really did not put priorities first. America first, children going hungry, as Nancy would say. Well, why is there all this other bloat? The bloat overcame the issues that are pressing at the moment, which are your stimulus check. A stimulus check if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. Everyone agreed to it. A $1,200 stimulus check. Everyone agreed to it. Whether you're not a dependent or a non-dependent, where you're on SSDI or SSI or railroad benefits, everyone agreed upon a stimulus check, and yet it hasn't gone out. The only thing they did not agree upon, which didn't appear to be a deal breaker, appear to be a deal breaker, was the issue of dependents. That dependents under the Republican plan would get a $500 check, and the dependents under the Democratic plan would get a $1,200 check. The other item that was clearly not of agreement yet was issues of child support. Under the Democrat plan, it would not be taken out for child support. Your stimulus check would not be taken out for child support. On the Republican plan, it would. And yet there was that tweet from the president over a week ago in which he said he'll pay a family of 4 instead of a family of 5. It's not quite clear if that ever was Republican policy whatsoever. But We don't have any disagreement upon the thing. Get the checks out. We all love each other. We've gone on the first stimulus check date. We've hugged and we're ready to go to third base. Send the check out. Well, we couldn't because the evil stepsister that watches as you're about to go out on the date, that stimulus package says, don't go out on the date. Don't go all the way with the stimulus check because I want some bloat. I want some pork and I'm ordering the pork right now. Well, America just had enough. America just had enough. Viewers of this channel became very sophisticated and very educated because of very quickly and said, wait a second, I got what's going on. You've agreed upon my check and you're not sending out my check because you're tying it up, you're strangle holding it, you're holding it at ransom. If we use a Clint Eastwood movie or, a Wild West movie, you're holding it at ransom because you want to talk about all this other stuff. Not going to work with us. We see what you're onto, said Americans. And then came the scandals du jour. Everyone literally was wondering, wait a second, I did not sign up to get reruns of Falcon Crest. I did not sign up to get reruns of Melrose Place and 90210. Why am I hearing about Dallas and J.R. Ewing-ish, soap opera-ish storylines every single day between the Democrats and the Republicans? Your stimulus check was not going out because of a bailout bill from states, a scandal regarding a bailout from states. Okay, that's scandal number one. Scandal number two, your check is not going out because of a scandal regarding the post office. Scandal number two. Everyone said, stop with the scandals and get the check out. And then came this. Someone's now saying, get to the point. When is my check going out? The point is the check is not going out yet. The point is your check's not going out yet. The point is that your check is being held stranglehold. But then there's this. Nancy Pelosi says she's going to do a skinny bill. What? Well, Nancy, thanks for tuning into the channel. I appreciate it. Hit a like button, Nancy. Thanks for tuning in. And Mitch, I know you're watching us also, so also hit the like button. Nancy suggested that the Democrats may be willing to do a cuts in their stimulus package proposal to reach a deal with the Republicans. That's after last night's debut of Nancy and Steve, Lies and Deceptions. Very big hit. Thank you for tuning in for that also, Nancy. Apparently, Nancy is a big fan of this channel. We're willing to cut our bill in half to meet the needs right now, says Nancy in a statement to Political Playbook's event. We'll take it up. We'll take up the rest of it in January. Oh, I just have to. Come on. Finally. Now, needless to say, Drew Hamill had to walk it back. I don't know why you have to walk it back, Drew. Nancy Pelosi's spokesperson later said she was referring to previous offers to meet Republicans halfway, not cutting our bill in half. We know what she said, Drew. She's saying that she's going to do the more pressing parts of her stimulus package now in a Democratic skinny bill, and then do the pork when the pork spare ribs are primed and sauteed and ready to grill. She'll do them later in November, December, January, because they're not urgent. Why were we doing urgent stuff now? Non-urgent stuff now? So this is incredibly great news. So as you're sitting back and say, okay, when's she doing a skinny bill? You're saying you're getting a check today? No, you're not getting a check today. You're saying I'm getting a check tomorrow? No, you're not getting a check tomorrow. You're saying she wrote a skinny bill? No, I'm not saying she wrote a skinny bill. I'm saying she's promising to do a skinny bill. Well, when will she do it? When are they in session? Fox News says they're not in session. Hi, Fox News. They are not in session. The Democrats return to session on Sunday. Mark your calendar. It's opposite The Simpsons on Sunday night at 8 p.m. The Democrats are coming back to session on Sunday, and they're doing it to chase a mailman who's moving their mailboxes. And they don't like it because they need those mailboxes to be in place so that you vote to reelect them. And if they don't get reelected, they don't get their check. So they put that priority before you getting your check. How American of them. So that's what's happening Sunday. They're coming back in session to be in session, not to just chase a mailman. And that's what we're referring to Democrats and Republicans in the House. Now, as of the Senate, what's going on in the Senate? It's really not clear. Mitch McConnell and his group, when they're not golfing and coming up for more PPP bills and more bailouts for big businesses, are apparently still in town. So they haven't left. That is that. Now, I just gotta say, Mitch McConnell's press office is the best press office in the country, because literally yesterday, early in the morning, someone from that press office said Mitch McConnell's about to introduce a skinny bill, a Kentucky flavored skinny Republican bill, and it's going to be so wonderful. So you need to watch for it. It's going to come out later this afternoon. And then the second report said, and by the way, it doesn't have your stimulus checks in it. My goodness, between that press release, or not press release, that press agent's floating of news to gossip political channels, the entire country nearly went in meltdown. Everyone that said, well, a lot of viewers of this channel started contacting me and said, I heard there's a new law. There's a new law. We're not getting a stimulus check. No, it's not a law. I heard the Republicans aren't going to give us anything. We're not getting anything. That's not law. It's Mitch talking through a press agent. Now, if this sounds familiar, as Mel Brooks would say, it's deja vu all over again. It literally is deja vu all over again. I'm used to this now, thank God, because it happened before when the HEALS Act was about to debut. If you don't recall, back a month ago, we were told every single day Mitch was going to debut his stimulus package, and every day it didn't come out, and every afternoon it didn't come out, and we were told it was come out in the morning, it wouldn't come out. We were told it would come out in the afternoon, it wouldn't come out. So I, at this point, want you to understand and take this to note. Every time you're told a Republican bill is coming out, just don't wait for it, because it doesn't happen. It just eventually sort of, walks in half-ass drunk and says, here I am. And then suddenly, it's like, okay, we've been waiting for you for 5 days. Where are you? And it's nothing like what anyone said. Needless to say, there is no Republican skinny bill. There's no Republican bill that says that you're not getting a stimulus check. And I know someone's going to say, but Fox News said, Okay, so let me get to the other details, as we now have great hope, great excitement, great promise about your second stimulus check. First, the next question will obviously be, what is in this skinny Democratic bill? I don't know. I don't know what is not urgent that enough that Nancy would take it out. It would be literally half of the bill. Now, clearly, a half of the bill could be taken out. The state bailouts. No one wants the state bailouts now. You can wait back there, states. That clearly is one of the things. The next thing that might likely be taken out is anything that is really intensive, like rent assistance. That could likely be taken out, because ostensibly you would say, hey, moratorium on rent, a moratorium on eviction, just don't evict people until January. And between then and now, we'll get to the idea of their rent, but we're not going to do the rent right now. It works beautifully, because if you have an eviction moratorium, you can't be thrown on the street. If you have mortgage forbearance, you can't be thrown on the street. But where's that rent going to come from? They'll deal with that in a couple of weeks. That makes sense. Taking out the bailout of the states makes sense. Taking out hazard pay doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Stimulus check doesn't make sense. Taking it out doesn't make sense. Taking out FPUC doesn't make sense. So there's certain things that clearly make sense staying in there, and other things, they didn't catch this until I started doing reports about this. Power to you, power to me. We see each other. All right, so let's go to Lowe's. If you work at Lowe's, congratulations. You're getting some hazard pay. Lowe's said it spent $416 million during the quarter on higher pay for hourly workers, store safety, and supporting communities. Apparently, Lowe's workers got big bonuses to work in their stores because the stores needed it, because you were frontline workers. And because of it, Lowe's did great numbers. Lowe's profits soared 68.7% to $2.83 billion, or $3.74 per share, up from $1.68 billion. I mean, look at that growth, or $2.14 per share a year earlier. And that they credit that to spending money on hazard pay. Can we just frame and put this on a wall, this video? The company said it spent $460 million on higher pay for hourly workers and supporting store safety, and that worked. Hallelujah. All right, Target. Target came in with their numbers absolutely through the roof. And the Target CEO, Brian Cornell, said the reason why it had big numbers was not because people were spending their stimulus check, but because people were not on vacation and spending money elsewhere. We're not on planes, we're not spending dollars on lodging, so many of dollars have been redirected to retail. Now hold up, if you're Mitch McConnell about to use his quote out of context, which I know you are, he came out and he says we need to get a stimulus package deal done right now. This is the head of the CEO of Target with the dog with the, yeah. There's just so much uncertainty now. What's going to happen with this pandemic, what's happening with the flu season, and as we go into the fall, questions about the economy and new stimulus. Do we go back to work and go back to college? So we better make sure we're adjusting this environment and adjusting each week and every week. It's hard to understand what's going to happen next week, let alone 3 to 4 months from now. The stimulus bill would give consumers a better and more certain time. He says very important. He says it's very important the House and Senate come together and put forward a new stimulus plan now. Thank you, Mr. Target. Lyft, and Uber. If you live in California, get ready. They could be leaving. That's the threat. I reported this over a week ago. A California decision in a lawsuit, which I detailed nearly 2 months ago when this channel debuted, shortly after this channel debuted, that Uber and Lyft lost a major decision in a lawsuit and is now threatening to leave the state. What's going on? Let me tell you right now. I had reported that California's Attorney General and 2 city attorneys, including Los Angeles and San Diego, sued Uber and Lyft, claiming they had intentionally misclassified its drivers as independent contractors, not as employees, to avoid paying employee benefits, to avoid paying them benefits that would be prescribed to employees, and to get away cheaply. The lawsuit alleges that each Uber and Lyft driver is entitled to thousands and thousands of dollars, and that the lawsuit claims that they should be paid that type of money. This became a big issue when Democrats in the Senate and House even considered a bill to give that money to those Uber and Lyft drivers. The lawsuit came to a determination last week, and the judge said, no, these are employees. Stop calling them independent contractors immediately within 10 days. Uber and Lyft immediately, minutes later thereafter, seemed to float suggestions that they're leaving the state. There's new indications today from drivers of Uber and Lyft that they have heard, and again, I'm going to stress that this is not confirmed in a statement by the company yet, but they have heard that Uber and Lyft is now threatening to leave the state of California because it does not want to be classified as employees. So if you're an Uber and Lyft driver, what do you need to know? First, if you're in California, you may not have a job in a few days. Second, if you're in other states or in California, you may be entitled to a lot of money as states are now cracking down to get you those benefits. It's a mixture of bad news and good news because no one wants to wake up and learn, oh, I don't have a job today. I just found that out on LALATE. What's going to happen later today? Well, we could see the Republican skinny bill. We could see more haggling. And what's important for you to understand, and this is what I stress so strongly, is that I don't want you to lose hope. Don't want you to lose hope. I want you to understand that you're going to get a stimulus check. You're going to get a stimulus check. It's just going through the tarmac and the meat grinder to get it out to you. And you see what's going on. And I understand this could be a little bit stressful for some people. I'm trying to make it a little bit lighthearted so that it doesn't seem so overwhelmingly confusing or overwhelmingly exhausting. And I get that some people don't like the levity and some people love the levity. I'm doing what I think is appropriate in the situation, keeping you informed, keeping you inspired, and keeping you motivated. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE every day at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Starts with a check, then goes to hazard pay, then FPUC, then rent assistance. We will approach and hopefully pass 200,000 subscribers today. What a milestone. For a channel that started no less than 4 months ago, on April 25th, May, June, July, August, 4 months. In 4 months, this channel will have reached 200,000 subscribers. Maybe we get to 250,000 subscribers in 4 months, because we're still not even to August 25th. It has grown because of your patronage, your understanding that things don't have to be partisan. Things don't have to be one against another. We can work together and we can find solutions together. And the spirit of this channel has been, and always will be, helping one another. See you this afternoon on LALATE's Afternoons, and go to the Fuzz channel, hit the subscribe and alert button. Stay informed, stay motivated, and stay LA for more.